Hi friends, and welcome back to my garden once again. So it's been a long time since I made a video on my rooftop. The last one probably was when there was a pre-monsoon shower, and at that point of time the garden looked very different. I had lots of corn and lots of Madras cucumber growing, had great harvest from all of that, and after that I had to go into another sowing cycle, and you can see the results of it. So, the rainy season is one of the best seasons in a place like Hyderabad, because the summers can be quite hot, and after that rains not only bring respite to us, but your plants are really going to love these kind of temperatures. As you can see, there is hardly any sun, and just now it was drizzling a bit. So it's not just your garden that does well, it's also the plants all around. So you just step out of your house and you'll be seeing so many weeds, so much of grass growing, and the trees looking absolutely beautiful. So after all that dry and hot of summer, this cool and wet of rainy season is much appreciated, not just by humans but also by the garden. So each time I put a photo of my rooftop garden, immediately the discussion goes towards the productivity and definitely these wooden containers. So let me just talk a bit about these wooden containers in this video as I show you the whole garden. Now, as you can see, these wooden boxes are 2 feet by 2 feet and again 2 feet. So the depth is 2 feet, the length and breadth are again 2 feet. These have been made from the wood which is used for packaging, and you could get them in any timber depot. So we have quite a few timber depot near the place where I stay, and what we did was we went there, got these wooden planks. They sell these separately, and it is essentially scrap wood for them. They don't have much use for it. You can get that, and some of them might be slightly oddly shaped. The second thing that you need to do is that you need to go and get a carpenter, and the carpenter is going to make these boxes out of it. So there are lots of different types of woods that you can choose from. You can actually talk to the timber depot person regarding that. For example, you can have acacia, you can have neem, you can have mango, you can have lots of different types of woods, and you can select whichever ones you find to be either economical or the one that you feel comfortable with. What I have noticed is that in your selection of wood, if you're not proper, you might not have the option of actually applying a varnish or some kind of a paint to it, which can greatly increase the life of your container. Now, these type of containers were used on DJ's rooftop, and we've seen them give a life of having a life of around 4 years plus. So there is a slight maintenance that might be required after 2 years. Maybe some of them become slightly weak, but you don't lose out much. And anyways, when you are taking out the soil and refilling it, you can just see whether they are still strong enough, and if required, maybe you can get a few more planks and just get them to work. So life is not an issue, but the number one factor about this and why I like it is because I get a huge area for planting. Of course, I could have gone for bigger ones, but it would have been slightly difficult to transport them upstairs. So you've got to be very careful about your containers, that you don't make big containers which you have problems in getting it from downstairs to upstairs. So that was one of the issues. The second thing which I like about it is the convenience that it is giving me in watering, and the fact that I have really been able to raise it up. So these are some of the factors which really motivated me to get into these containers. Now, cost is one thing that you would have to find out from your local timber depot, because the mileage can vary quite a bit. So just find out the rates from that, find out how much the carpenter is going to charge, and you can get these kind of boxes made. But in terms of what should I say, in terms of baseline, if you say that wooden containers are better than plastic in terms of the fact that they give you more productivity, I would have to slightly disagree there, because I've got extremely good produce even when I didn't have these wooden containers. So the choice of the container, the basis on which I selected them is purely based on how I like to manage my garden. So a lot of time whenever I'm doing the gardening classes, people do get inspired by some of the gardens that they have already seen, and the general tendency that all of us have is that let's replicate that type of a garden. So as with anything else in life, it is even gardening is hugely dependent on the type of person you are and the type of gardening that you want to do. And if you're not careful of that fact, what will happen is that you might have something which works beautifully for somebody else, whereas you might not really like it. So keep that in mind always, especially when you are going out there and setting up your garden for the first time. Experiment a bit, try with different types of containers and see what really works for you. So when I started my gardening, I was going for probably something which was already there, or probably something which was cheapest to buy, and just get the garden going. And once I understood how to manage the garden, how to maintain the garden, and I was comfortable with how I want to garden and how the garden behaves with me. For example, in terms of the number of times I want to do watering, and probably things like drip and stuff like that. It is at that point of time that I wanted to have these. So that is one more point that you should keep in your mind. So the other thing that I have done is that the inner side of these containers, I have lined it with a HDPE plastic sheet, and just towards the edge, it's a single sheet which runs here, but just towards the edge I have rolled it a bit so that it is easier for me to put a nail there, and it does not get torn that easily at the edges. Wood, as we know, is biodegradable. So what happens is that when you have the kind of potting mix that I have, which is really good, the microorganisms are actually going to eat away this wood, and so it is very important that I put this plastic sheet. Now some of you might be wondering that if it is completely lined with plastic sheet, what happens to the water? How does it get drained? Now I have left a few empty spaces inside in the plastic lining, especially towards these edges, and from one of these edges, because as you can see that these are not watertight kind of arrangement. You can see that there are gaps, and that is one of the reasons that putting a plastic sheet really helps. It prevents your potting mix from coming out, and towards the edges what you can see is that the water will be able to come out from there. So really nothing to worry too much about in terms of water getting stagnated. I have never seen water getting stagnated in these containers, never had such an issue. So sabja seems to be attracting lots of bees. I hope you can see them. So this is one moringa, and there is another moringa that I planted. As you can see, with the wind, what starts happening is that it will fall off. It is already becoming slightly weak. So this is going to be chopped off, and although primarily I'm growing it for the leaves, really happy to see one fruit. So a few chili plants are there. Lots of different types of plants actually, so to say. Brinjal, okra, marigold, corn, coriander, spinach, and did I say tomatoes? Yeah, lots and lots of tomatoes. Then I've got lots of creepers growing here. So last time I had a very good produce from Rich God, and I did a bit of seed saving, and these are doing really well. Of course, there are these perennials like this Malabar spinach, got a bitter gourd, Indian borage, got a bit of methi, fenugreek growing out there, cabbage, a bit of broccoli here and there, and then I've got this Ceylon spinach, again another perennial. So with this, let me just finish the video. Hopefully I was able to answer most of your questions regarding the containers. I do accept that there is a lot more that needs to be spoken purely on how to do container selection, and hopefully I'll be able to do that pretty soon. So let me end this video here. Thanks for watching. Do share this video, do like this video, and don't forget to subscribe.